Good evening, I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. An anti-crime group is up in arms over the developments in the investigation of the kidnap-slay of businessman Anson Que and his driver. The son of Que is now being linked to the crime without sufficient evidence. The Filipino-Chinese community continues to call for justice for the victims. Let's get on point with the founding chairperson of the Movement for Restoration of Peace and Order, Teresita Ang See. She joins us on the phone. Ma'am Teresita, good evening to you. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Good evening, Pinky, and thank you also for inviting me.
Let's understand the situation. But first of all, of course, this statement coming from the MRPO denouncing this particular angle that Anson Que's son is being tagged as a person of interest in the kidnap-slay case of the father. I guess my first question really is, how did it get to this?
Yeah, because the only evidence they have is the word of a notorious criminal who surrendered himself. Today at a forum, the Chinese embassy said that criminal, David Tan Liao, is involved in 21 cases of kidnapping, extortion, murder, and they believe what he said in his extrajudicial confession, that it was Alvin Que who is the mastermind and who asked him to kidnap the father. So against the word of the son and the daughter-in-law, who has been working with AKG from day one, mind you, from day one. I mean, they wouldn't go out of their way to contact me. And then after they contact me and I assured them that they can ask help from AKG, they went to AKG immediately on March 30, one day after the kidnapping. So why did they give weight to somebody's to a notorious criminal words against the action of the couple who were debriefed completely by General Okubo? So I said, are you on the same page? Did General Okubo even tell you what happened during the 2-hour debriefing where he said, I am now convinced that you are not a person of interest in this case?
That's why I heard your earlier interviews. And if the anti-crime group chief was saying that he's convinced that he's not even a person of interest, begs the question, why now he becomes not just a person of interest, but even a mastermind?
Yeah, actually, it's a confluence of the debriefing, the cybercrime, the surrender of the phone for the cyber forensic was way back last week. All of this came out only because GMA7 suddenly put on live TV that the PNP is suspecting Alvin Que. But that was way back last week when they saw the extrajudicial confession of David Liao. But of course, they gave weight to that because they first arrested the son-in-law of Anson Que, the one who used his e-wallet to pay the ransom. They arrested him and then they cleared him. The DOJ withdrew.
This is Panzelang? Tama ho
Yeah,
ba?
Panzelang. The DOJ withdrew the case. AKG withdrew the case against him. But I don't know what the Bureau of Immigration, this is calling the attention of Bureau of Immigration. Ano ang hinihintay ninyo? 10 araw na nasa inyo yung tao. Why don't you release him? When DOJ has already withdrawn the case, AKG has already withdrawn the case because they found out na wala talaga. Yung suspicion nila that Panzer Liang was still paying off the kidnapper 2 days after Anson Que died. Suspicion nila yon, hindi sila nag-research, hindi sila nag-gather ng evidence.
So why is he being detained?
Because they said he was still paying off the kidnappers 3 days after Anson Que died without checking na yung Nine Dynasty, yung tumanggap ng pera, is the one who is playing a game with the PNP and baiting them and diverting their attention away from the real kidnappers. Nakita nila na wala si Pancela, he never paid off after the last payoff was April 8, the day before he died, no?
Mm-mm.
That was the last payoff. There is no truth in the fact that
He paid
April
after.
10, April 11, nagbabayad pa daw siya ng ransom.
Okay. For context, ito pong si Panzelang is the son-in-law of Mr.
Yes.
Anson Que. Opo.
That guy doesn't even know how to use a cell phone. It so happened that when they went to pay off the cryptocurrency, si Alvin Que did not have an ID with him. So they had to use Panzer Liang's ID. Kaya yung e-wallet, it was Panzer Liang who opened it. He doesn't even know how to operate it, how to send the money. It was Alvin, with the help of the people who accepted the money, who used the e-wallet. And another proof that they cannot be involved is that they were the ones who asked help to trace the money trail. They gave the receipt of the ransom payment. They gave the tracking number. They gave all the evidence to AKG. Bakit hindi ninyo sinundan yung money trail? Why now make Panzer Liang your suspect?
That's why in your statement, in the statement that you released, it said the Que family approached a friend for help to trace the money trail. Why has the AKG not picked this up to follow the money? If there are contradictory preliminary findings and the money trail has not been followed, then the investigation is not finished. Okay, that was just part of the statement that we're showing on air. I want to go back to Alvin Que, because even in your earlier interviews, you were saying that, and even just right now, a couple of minutes ago, you said that against the advice of his lawyer, he and his wife spoke to authorities regarding the incident of the kidnap and slay of the father, and even submitted for forensics, as you mentioned a while ago, their cell phones. Was there...
Yes, because the lawyers, they are high-end lawyers. They said, now that you are a person of interest, it's a different ball game. You do not show your hand. You do not give anything to the PNP until they tell us what do they have in their hand, aside from the say-so of David Tan Liao. Don't show your hand, no? But Alvin said, we have nothing to hide. This is our father. We love him. So how can we have him killed, di ba? They spent a lot of efforts to contact me. Kasi I was rushing a deadline for Singapore. I was not looking at my cell phone. Yung pala, they were trying to contact me through several persons already until they made efforts to call up my daughter. My daughter was the one who told me, Mama, please take their call. They're already panicking about the kidnapping of the father.
Opo.
So, the action ba yan ng isang guilty person that they've exhausted efforts to talk to me, and after talking to me, I recommended them to AKG on day one. Day one palang kasama na nila yung AKG. So bakit nalihis yung direksyon nila? No? I mean, why give weight to the words of a notorious criminal against these people who were already talking and dealing with you from day one?
And why do you think? Why do you think they're giving, some sort of credence to this extrajudicial confession of this David Tan Liao, who, as you mentioned a while ago, he's notorious. He's involved in 20 or so cases. Why take an extrajudicial confession of this man over the son who had submitted himself from day one to the investigation?
Yeah, in the first place, no? Why didn't they ask themselves? Common sense. Why didn't you ask yourself, what is the motive of David Tan Liao in surrendering to you? Now, that is the first question. Second question, The first snafu, the first big mistake of AKG was already to make a decision on day one that this case is not a kidnap for ransom case. That this is a kidnap me case. That si Anson Que owes people money, so he kidnapped himself so that he can raise funds. I mean, it's an outlandish decision because of a snafu of a cell phone. They suspected that the wife of Alvin, gave them a wrong cell phone. No, it was AKG who made a mistake. The cell phone was really Anson Ke's cell phone, but they believe an informant who called them that that is not Anson Ke's cell phone. The cell phone of Anson Ke is this. They traced the cell phone, they raided Binondo to look for the owner of the cell phone. Fortunately, the owner of the cell phone has been abroad for 1 month already, and he said he doesn't know Anson Ke at all. So why his number was picked by this informant, pinaglaruan talaga ang PNP. Pinaglaruan sila, and they fell into the trap, into the diversionary tactics of this criminal syndicate.
Were you able to speak to PNP Chief Marbil earlier today?
Yes, and he said, he's because I said, are you not in the same page? Because Okubo is your directorial staff, your right hand halos. Didn't he brief you? Bakit sinabi na niya na there is no reason to make you a person of interest? So why is Jean Fajardo suddenly giving a press conference that this needs corroboration? I mean, right then and there, Jean Fajardo should have said already that the PNP and AKG has already cleared the family because the AKG already withdrew the information about Pansilyang and
Alvin Que.
So what are you talking about that you maski na sinabi mo na, yes, we cannot believe everything that David Tanliao said because he might have his own motive. But even then, you already premise your press conference and say it needs corroboration. So are you working on the same page? No, Pinky, pardon me. We've been 32 years in this, the movement for restoration of peace and order. So why is this happening? No, where is the failure coming from? Where is the failure of intelligence? You don't even need intelligence. You need simple common sense.
And if you've been with this for 32 years, for more than 3 decades, what do you think the problem is?
I think the whole problem lies with the AKG, which is now just a platform for promotion. Nobody is really interested in case build-up. Everybody's interested only in poggy points so that they can get promoted. That is already one basic error, no? And then another thing, no, lest I forget, never has anyone, PNP or AKG or media, ever revealed how much is the ransom demand and how much is paid. So why suddenly we have an SILG who said that Andy Wan, who said that demand was 20 million for the British school student. So that's why in Anson Ke's case, the same 20 million US dollars ang demand. Kasi tinuruan mo eh. Never has this been done. I think
it's not something
we
that
need a protocol, a whole workshop for media, for the PNP spokesperson, for the palace spokesperson, and for everybody involved in anti-kidnapping, a workshop on how to handle and how to report kidnapping cases. Ginawa na ni General Ping Lacson yan during PACC days. I-review na lang nila yung mga protocols na yan. It has worked for us for 3 decades. So where is the failure coming from?
We're going to continue to monitor the developments of this story. In the meantime, Teresita Ang See, founding chairperson of the Movement for Restoration of Peace and Order, ma'am, thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you, Pinky.
We'll be taking a very short break. Up next, I'll be speaking to CJ Lacaba, who stood as marshal in an event in Vancouver, Canada that turned into a tragedy. Stay tuned. This is On Point.